everyone, welcome to Fusion 35. Yeah, our 35th Fusion, our last Fusion of 2023 in fact. So that is interesting. We have a 4-person round robin today. So yeah, everyone will be playing each other once. And yeah. Alright, so let me set up the versus screen for our first match. So we have Seed 2 versus Seed 3. Corpy versus Gelatinous Boy. Okay, we're going to, oops, sorry, 1 second. Alright, there you go. So yeah, we just started our first game. This is a first to 7. Looks like Corpy is quite low on its board. Yeah, setting up some really nice all spins. They're definitely really good at that. Gelatinous Boy is just trying to get some down stacks in here, and is not able to counter the excellent pressure from Corpy. Corpy is starting off with a really nice I spin there, or particularly interesting, into a J spin. Gelatinous Boy seems to not be doing quite as many all spins. Did get a T spin in there though. And Corpy just relentless with the all spin, getting that Z spin in there. Yeah, just Gelatinous Boy with the T spin there though, quite clean. Just trying to get down all the way down to the bottom now, and Corpy is gonna need to get down and just isn't able to get down in time. So Gelatinous Boy taking a point there, keeping things tied up, and Gelatinous Boy with another T-spin there. Corpy, interesting spin setup. Quite sure. Okay, getting a Z spin there. I don't know if that was trying to I spin or what. Anyway. Yeah. Ooh, Corpy getting all the way down with that nice zone combo there. And taking another point. Yeah, I suppose I will, or Jonas Boy was saying in chat earlier that, uh, or that, oh wait, I realized I have the, like, what? Okay. Jonas was saying earlier in chat that, he doesn't really know the meta for this game. It's like, basically like spamming all spin, because in this game, in Nuketris, all spins are rewarded the same as T spins. So like Z spin double would send as much as like a T spin double in, you know, most games. So as a result, it's like really important to like upstack a lot. So that way you can like send a lot of pressure, because that's just the most efficient way to do it. And yeah, Corby with a really nice O spin right there. That's another quirk of Nuketris. You can spin O's with SRS. Just like you would spin any other piece. Definitely a very fascinating quirk. Yeah, Corby once again, just getting off that pressure. And Gelatinous Boy unable to respond. Gelatinous Boy starting with a PCO. Kind of interesting, actually. PCs are nerfed in Nuketris. In most games, most modern games, PCs send 10 lines, but in Nuketris, PCs only send 5 lines because Nuke does not like PCs. Yeah, Corby has been quite offensive this game, just really relentless with the all spins there. Gelatinous Boy forced to defend that. Yeah. Corby with some nice T-spins into an I-spin. Yeah, once you like kind of develop the all-spin vision, you'll just see there's like so many options for things you can do at different points. And definitely very interesting to see what kind of setups people make. People who have better spin vision than I. Yeah. Yeah, Gelatinous Boy getting down low now, but Corby has spin into a count to 4 there, and yeah, now both players are quite low. Even though Gelatinous Boy hasn't been doing quite as many all spins, he's still been doing a great job of defending and lasting quite a long time. Yeah, it's ooh, Corby, yeah. Gelatinous Boy seems to be getting sent up quite a bit. Although sometimes as a spectator, it can be hard to tell exactly how much danger these players are in since you can't see the garbage lines. But yeah. Ooh, another O spin from Corby. Very fancy. Definitely something really interesting that you'll see top players, or not top players, but just experienced Nuketris players doing. And Gelatinous Boy starting off with just like a 9-0. Keeps their stack flat and getting a down stack and a Z-spin in that down stack as well. Ooh, Corby with just a really fascinating spin setup into a T-spin. And takes it. Yeah, Corby takes it 7-2. Alright, excellent gameplay from both sides. Definitely saw a lot of back and forth there. Yeah, anyway, next up we're gonna have JD Moon and Batches. So those are our other two players this tournament. Alright, both players have entered the room and I assume we'll be getting ready soon. Batches is like higher seated and definitely has a bit more experience in Nuketris, but we'll see how JD is able to fare. Alright, and going into the game right here, Batches starting off with a quick flat top TKI. JD also doing a flat top TKI, and going into just kind of a 7-2 while Batches is beginning to set up all spins, getting a nice O spin right there. Finagling the piece a little bit to get it in, but yeah. JD is not really put in danger yet though. Still quite low on the board, but Batches is rapidly setting up spins, but misdrops the T piece right there, but gets that funny, like weird kind of TST kick in. And ooh, but JD's board is a little rough right now. Gonna need some clever stacking to get out and isn't able to find anything. Batches going for MKO PC. JD doing DT, wasting a T in the stack and trying to just quickly cycle through to the next T right there. But sends quite a bit. Batches is like quite high on his board now, but yeah, but all of that garbage just Batches was able to just send it right back, so that was really nice. Yeah, Batches going into a LST kinda a bit stacked up a bit high in the middle, but keeping things clean when JD is trying to get down right here. Gonna need to get down quickly. And Batches, interesting stack there, but didn't really need to fix that up because he killed. JD going for DT once again. But misdropping the O right there, that's gonna be a bit tough. I wonder if that was possible to O spin in. I'm not really familiar with O spins. Batches with a really nice C spin setup and just relentless pressure against the misdrop. JD didn't really have a chance there. Ooh, JD missing PC. And Batches with the eyepiece misdrop over there. That's going to be really tough to get through, but luckily has a couple of eyepieces in queue. Gonna quickly downstack right here. Making great use of the zone combo. And Yeah, JD has a really rough board there. Batches is kind of running away with it. It's already 5-0. Remember, this is the first 7, so we have 2 points. Batches only needs 2 more points in order to win the set. Luckily for JD though, this is a round robin, so he's not eliminated from the tournament after losing. Batches is pushed up really high, and the O piece there is really struggling to get away down, and JD was able to take advantage of that and just send enough to push Batches over the edge. Batches getting the PC right there. JD is got the DT off as well. Ooh, Batches with a little Chiton setup over there. Very nice. And a count to 4, misdropping the eyepiece right there. Gonna struggle to get the eyepiece over because of SRS, but manages to cycle to another eyepiece. That was a really precarious situation for Batches there. But now JD is the one in a precarious situation, pushed all the way up, had the eyepiece over the well, definitely complicated his down stack. Yeah, Batches looks like he's going for PCs. Even though they're nerfed, he can still get off quite a bit of damage. Doesn't quite get the second, but it's okay. Interesting seeing how Batches holds soft drop even when placing like almost all of his pieces in order to make sure that he can soft drop quickly when he needs to. And Batches takes that 7-1. Yeah, really impressive gameplay there. Alright, so that's it for our first round of matches, and we are going into our second round. Not that it really matters, it's just kind of the way the bracket is like set up. But yeah, so now we have Batches and Corby, our top 2 seeds, so that's going to be really exciting. Yeah, both of these players are very seasoned at Nuktra specific stats, especially all spins. You'll definitely see both of these players going for some really nice all spins. And like we even got we even saw some like O spins and stuff earlier. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, let's see how these players fare against each other. And going into the game now. Both players going for different Z spins at the same time. Batches getting that O spin in there. Always a sight to treat. And interesting to see. And yeah, Batches is kind of at the bottom, just really getting the spins in. Corby down stacking a little bit and setting up some more spins right here. Up stacking quite a bit, but combos down there. Yeah, Batches has sent much more garbage this round than Corpy so far, but Corpy in other games definitely is known for having excellent survival, so I don't think that's different in Nuketris either. Really interesting spin setups from Batches there. Yeah, Corpy kind of skimming down a little bit right there. Definitely not doing too great, but Batches has some misdrops on his board and just not really... Oh, okay, the TST setup. But yeah, Corpy's board is quite clean now, though. We're gonna see if they are able to capitalize well. A nice Z-spin triple there. Ooh, Batches getting pushed up really high. Making great use of the zone in order to save himself. Corpy, was that eyepiece a misdrop or... I guess this is a misdrop. They're spinning the eye into the well though. Batches is a bit of a rough board now. Some holes in his stack. But Corpy... Okay, Corpy is a slight L misdrop. That's not gonna be too great, but... Yeah, no, both players kind of back to a neutral spot once again. Corpy with a really, really big well. We'll see what it can do from that. And Corpy takes the first round. That was a really long round. Definitely some pretty evenly matched players. Batches of the color clear right there. Nice Z-spin from Batches, and yeah, Corpy with Z-spin right there. Ooh, Batches with the PC, the quad garbage PC. And getting another PC right here. Corpy is getting pushed up. Even though PCs are nerfed, they still send a bit if you are fast at them and your opponent is not adequately canceling. And yeah, Batches going into just like LST now. That can definitely send it quite a bit when you can, you know, burst that out. And Batches is certainly quite proficient at LST. Getting the fractal off there. Batches is just not letting up on the LST, and Corpy is forced to kind of play a little defensive, but Batches is pushed up really high. Gonna have to downstack out of the LST now. Corpy did an excellent job of defending that garbage, was not phased at all. Yeah, it seems like Batches is getting pushed up quite a bit, but has so much clean. Can definitely use that to attack Corpy. Yeah, Batches seems to be struggling up at the top of the board here. Never mind, just barely getting some nice sends off, and yeah, tying things up at 1-1. Nice S-spin triple from Batches there. Corpy, okay, getting down. Yeah, it looks like, okay, Batches is getting a nice down stack there, opening up his well. Starting to go into a 7-2 stack. Never mind, doesn't even need to really grind the 7-2 to send enough to Corpy to top it out. And yeah. Nice T-spin donation from Corpy right there. Batches is, yeah, quite close to the bottom, just trying to set up some spins right here. A really interesting L spin or J spin there. Yeah, meanwhile, Corpy is kind of, setting up some T-spins, or not T-spins, all spins on their way down, and Batches with a TST setup, but greeding a little bit, creating holes in his stack. I don't know how that's gonna fare for him. Able to get clean though, so I guess it didn't really matter all that much. Yeah, Batches is really high up now. Definitely needs to get down very soon. Corpy has a nice big well, but Batches is getting down, and both players are back at neutral. Looks like in these rounds, Batches seems to be sending just a smidge more than Corpy, putting him on the offense a little bit more. Definitely notice I think he plays a little faster. You can't really see PPS here, but you can kind of see how fast they're going. And yeah, so Corpy is kind of more of a slow defense. And yeah, it seems like Batches has the edge here, with 3 wins to Corpy's 1. Yeah, Batches with, okay, kind of a 2-7 setup. And I don't know, looks like Batches is not being too efficient this round. But getting clean, probably the efficiency probably starts now, except for that misstep, I think, but works out, cleans up very nicely. Yeah, especially with all spins in place, you can easily clean up misdrops without really, putting a hamper in your pressure if you're good enough at spotting the spins. Like the saying, that there are no misdrops, only T-spin setups is like even more true in Nuketris because you can all spin like anything. Yeah, and Batches has taken another point, so it's 4-1 now. Definitely starting to pull ahead here. Corpy is definitely going to need to up its game if it wants to win the set. Yeah, and considering this is the game between the first and the second seed, it's probably going to be quite an important game, or it's probably the game that will determine, who will place first or second, in like the final standings. And of course that matters because the person who gets first place gets a credit, which can be redeemed for up to $5. I don't know. I like reminding people that credits exist because I think there is a significant population of people who aren't really aware of its existence. So yeah, that's definitely something you can look out for if you are a player. Although both of these players know about the credit system because they have earned and redeemed credits in the past before. But yeah, Batches once again taking another point. It's 5-1 now. Only needs 2 more in order to take it all. And looks like, oh, Corpy was sending quite a bit there, and Batches was not doing a great job defending, and Batches going into a 4-wide for this round. Okay, never mind. Not really doing an excellent build there. Not gonna get like a really great combo or anything. I kind of forgot if the combo table... Okay, no. The combo table in Nuketris is actually really nerfed. It's sort of buffed a little bit by the zone system, because all the lines from the combo in the zone are sent at once. And you can also downstack. Basically, when you place the piece that gets you out of the zone, you don't get sent garbage. So you can actually have kind of one piece of leeway in a downstack if you're trying to get out of like a big spike. So those are the things that sort of like buff combos, but the actual like the garbage table for combos is like pretty nerfed in Nuketris, like even more than like Petrio. But yeah. Oh yeah, Sketchy putting the exclamation point donate in chat. If you ever have any money to spare and would like to support us, you can always donate. We are always accepting donations. Most of the money goes towards the prize pool, so that's like basically the credits I mentioned. And Batch is taking another one, bringing it up to 6-2. But yeah, but a small amount of the money from donations also goes to like production, just various other expenses like any raffles we run during larger tournaments. But yeah, Batch is getting that TST tower off. Very fancy. Definitely going for style here. I'm personally a huge sucker for TST towers. But anyway, seems like that was a bit too greedy on Batches' end, and Corpy taking a point, and we're at 6-3. But Corpy still has an uphill battle if it wants to take the set. Ooh, but Batches with a misdrop there, and Corpy still has a clean board. If they can get the pressure off right here, Batches could be done for. But Batches is making good use of the zone to downstack. And seems to be in the clear now. Well, Corpy seems to have some issues on its board. And yeah, gonna get sent up. Using the eyepiece in the downstack, but has another one. Really clutch. Yeah, and Batches is gonna continue to send, not letting up on the pressure one bit. But Corpy is, down close to the bottom now. Absolutely in a safe spot now. But Batches is also, so both players are just back to trying to send. Ooh, but Batches seems to be doing quite a bit of skimming, having to skim out of that spin setup. That seems to put him under the pressure, not able to eye spin right there, didn't have a high enough wall. And Corpy takes yet another point, showing that it is not over. Corpy could absolutely take the next 3. If Corpy takes the next 3 points, if Batches slips up 3 times, then that's the set. And looks like Batches is not doing too hot, and this having to put the T-piece in unfavorable spot over the well in order to just try to get another skim in, and Corpy taking another point. I mean, it was 6-2 earlier, but Corpy has won 3 in a row. If Corpy can win just 2 more, it will have the set. And ooh, Corpy with a nice spin there. And Batches is just such an unclean board, and we are tied at tiebreaker Corpy really just uh, turned up the I can't speak. Corpy really just, something changed in the just getting all of those points in a row. Yeah, both players are definitely. Batches is not doing any more greedy setups, really trying to make sure that he can take it. Well, Corpy is, yeah, keeping things safe as well. Yeah, but Batches with a, okay, never mind, cleaning up that weird T-shaped hole well. That's the power of all spins. You can get some like crazy fixes in there if you just like know your way around. I personally am maybe not as good at all spins as these individuals right there. So right here. So perhaps we should be looking at their spins for some inspiration in how to all spin. But yeah, both players are getting down to the bottom once again. It is neck and neck. Oh, but Batches with the JP Smith drop seems to be getting down just fine though. Not really going to be a huge problem. Ooh, Corpy with a little TSS donation. And Batches counting to 4. But it's just little sends, neither player gaining a huge advantage over the other. Corpy does have a little bit of a cheesy board, but when you have all spins here, it often doesn't really matter if it's too cheesy because you can just all spin your way through that. And ooh, Corpy getting sent up a little bit again, but Batches has a really clean well, but Corpy is able to defend. Corpy's has, yeah, the cheese might be a bit of a problem to downstack here, but Corpy has just great pieces for the downstack, getting the I spin down in there and getting down really well. Now Batches is just trying to set up those spins to get the kill, but doesn't quite, and just gonna continue to pressure as normal now, back to neutral. Corpy was in a bit of a tough spot for a moment there, but definitely clutched. And looks like, okay, Corpy getting a really nice combo downstack all the way to the bottom, but Batches is at the bottom too. Yeah, looks like Batches has sent more garbage this round, as is the case in most rounds, but Corpy has clearly survived quite well. Pushed up a little bit, but getting down again. Just excellent survival from it. And yeah, Batches is, pushed up a little bit, but just gonna get down easily with that really clean well. But Corpy sending that last bit of garbage at the end there, and topping out Batches 7-6. That was such an impressive game, and Corpy's last minute, comeback was really impressive. From 2-6 to taking the set. That's definitely a sight to see. Anyway, we will be having our other two players play now. We have Gelatinous Boy and JD Moon. We saw both of them play once earlier. So yeah, and they're also close in seat, so we'll see if this game is close as well. Yeah, I see. Looking at this. Oh, never mind. Both players are actually in the room now, and we will be getting ready to start now. Both players going for kind of a TKI. John's going for a classic flat top, while JD doing kind of a variation on it. Ooh, JD with the interesting skim with the two L pieces there. Definitely a creative solve. Gelatinous Boy's near the bottom was sending quite a bit, and JD did not have a way to downstack there. Both players just sending TSD after TSD, canceling attacks out exactly, continuing to just keep sending 4 lines of garbage. Oh, but JD is gonna change up the pace a little, building that TST tower, but doesn't quite have the J piece for the overhang. Gets just too greedy with that, committing to that setup, and Gelatinous Boy takes yet another point. Gelatinous Boy going for the mech. Okay. The mech goes crazy. Never mind. No longer actually proper mech. Kind of just doing 3 wide floatings. That's really based. I love 3 wide floatings, honestly. But yeah, Gelatinous Boy getting down to the bottom. JD is pushed up once again. Seems like JD often just ends up not quite able to send quite enough to, you know, count. Ooh, JD's misdrop there. Yeah, JD's just not able to counter Gelatinous Boy's offense, and just isn't able to downstack in time and just gets topped out, just slowly pressured all the way up to the top. JD with a nice L spin though, and yeah. It looks like this round JD is faring a little bit better. Gonna see if he's able to keep that up. That piece. Ooh, the T spin misdrop and another T misdrop. Yeah, JD just is not doing too hot at the top of the board. Both players going for simultaneous DTs, but Gelatinous Boy accidentally soft dropping the Z instead of the T. JD setting up the Z spin there, and it looks like Gelatinous Boy is getting pushed up a little bit in a bit of an awkward board state with that, and that misdrop, and another misdrop. Just really gonna need some good pieces to get out of it. Seems to be cleaning things up nicely, but JD is not done pressuring. That STSD right there, even though it was waste T, still can send, and building the 3-red floating on top of that, another 3-red floating. I mean, what did I say? I love 3-red floatings. Yeah, Gelatinous Boy pushed up so high now. Gonna need some good sends in order to get down. Yeah, JD. Ooh, JD has a bit of like a power stack now on the side. Getting the Tetris in there as well. And that is enough for his first point. That's an excellent spike at the end to seal the deal. Gelatinous Boy going for LST, and JD with the DT, but opting to J spin and I. Oh, the 4 wide. Let's go 4 wide. Yeah, it doesn't send like a super huge combo though, and receives so much garbage from Gelatinous Boy's LST. Gonna probably have trouble defending that, and it looks like Gelatinous Boy has once again been much more offensive, sending just so much more attack. JD with a nice S prop or Z prop there, and yeah, it seems like JD is hitting his stride now. Getting some nice up stacks there. Gonna combo down right here. But Gelatinous Boy is so low, not bothered by it at all, just getting everything as clean garbage that he can send right back. Ooh, both players going for a TKI. John's going for, again, proper flat topple. JD kind of doing a little variation on it. Yeah. Ooh, Gelatinous, interesting board state for Gelatinous right there. I don't know if he knows exactly what he's trying to do to get down, but JD doesn't have quite so much to send, and Gelatinous Boy is gonna get out of that without too much hassle. And JD's the one with the rough board now. Got the spin in there, but just yeah, not able to get down, and then it's already match point for Gelatinous Boy. Both players kind of just going into a stack. Ooh, but JD's eyepiece misdrop there. Just unable to cycle to the next eyepiece in time. That's really unfortunate. Eyepiece misdrops always hurt. Yeah, and Gelatinous Boy takes that 7-1. Alright, next up we are going to have JD and Corpy. Alright. Yeah, so Corpy here is C number 2, so has a bit of an advantage going in, but we'll see how JD fares against that. Anyway. Corpy with a nice T-spin setup right there. JD actually sending a bit more in the early game, but Corpy is definitely shown to be excellent defender. Definitely not going to be faced by that. And yeah, JD is trying to downstack right here. Okay, able to get to open that well and get to the eyepiece for topping out, but Corpy is continuing to pressure, finally getting same number of line sent as JD, showing that it's been on the offense in the mid game. I think JD often has some strong openers like DT, but struggles a bit more with like all spinning in mid game, whereas Corpy is much better just spotting those all spins. Sorry. 1 second. Okay. Nah, I was like I had Twitch open and then I like accidentally closed it instead of tabbing into OBS. Whoops. Anyway, but Corpy taking yet another point. Yeah. Showing that it definitely is able to do very well in this matchup. And looks like Corpy has got, okay, so a T-spin right there, but JD also has a T-spin to counter. And yeah, JD getting pushed up again. Wonder if he's gonna be able to get it down this time. Corpy with a spin, a Tetris, and that's enough to top out JD. Looks like JD's going for the 4 wide here. Doesn't have a particularly good setup though, and kind of not really getting much out of it at all. Meanwhile, Corpy's just going for the, normal stacking spins. Interesting J spin right there, or L spin from Corpy into I spin into a S spin. Corpy is just so relentless with the pressure. Will not stop for a second. Just so good at building up all spins from, nothing. Like in this game, because like if you can get those all spins, just from your own stack, like you can send so much. Like you don't need, nice clean garbage to send a lot if you're just, cracked at all spins. But yeah, and okay, Corpy with the T-spin setup right there. Yeah, JD is just pushed up to the top once again. Corpy getting a quick point, and we are already at match point with Corpy up 6-0. So this is definitely not going to be easy for JD. He's going to need to do something really, really drastic, but those misdrops are not going to be what he needs to take it, and Corpy takes that sweet 7-0. Alright, so, yeah, next up we will have our last match of this tournament. So we're going to have Gelatinous Boy and Batches. So these players we've seen a little bit before. Batches is shown to have really good offense and just able to build excellent all spins. Gelatinous Boy has perhaps done a little less all spin, but still is able to mount some significant pressure. We'll see how these two players fare against each other. I will say though that Batches has a 135 worm, and Gelatinous Boy is a 59-second worm. And that clearly means that Batches is the better player because he has a better worm, and everyone knows that worm is the only statistic that matters. For those of you who may be unacquainted with worm, it is the game mode in which you have to O-spin a bunch. It is so good. But anyway, going into the actual match, so yeah, Gelatinous Boy with some misdrops and Batches with just the PCs there. Not going to get another PC, but still going to be able to send to quite a bit. But stacking up really high, I'm not really sure what he's trying to accomplish here. I guess kind of going into sort of a power stack, but that may not have been the right decision because it gave Gelatinous Boy the time to get out of all of those misdrops. But Gelatinous Boy misdrops again and doesn't really matter, and Batches is once again taking the point. Batches with some misdrops early on and just immediately tops out to Gelatinous Boy's pressure. Yeah, looks like Batches with the O-spin right there. Very fancy. It's always interesting to see O-spin setups. Definitely a personal favorite. And Gelatinous Boy pushed up again with a bit of a rough stack, covering as well a little bit. That's but able to get out of it, it seems, just barely, and getting that T-spin right at the top. But Batches is definitely going quite fast, setting up a T-spin of his own right here, and that is able to top out Gelatinous Boy. Batches with the SDPC right there. Getting the PC, but no, never mind. Getting a color clear, because he got one line of garbage, but it's okay, because can still keep stacking. Batches having to skim out of that O-spin setup. I think it might not have been actually an O-spin setup. I don't really know what the requirements are for an O-spin to work. But yeah, Batches setting up the S-spin triple. That's another really fancy one. That's interesting. You don't really see a lot of people go for it in, like, you know, most modern games because it doesn't send extra. It's just kind of for fancy points, but it's actually quite useful in Nuketris since it does send 6 lines of garbage, just like a T-spin triple. So that can be a very useful tool to, you know, send quite a bit. But anyway, Batches is setting up some T-spins, making his board a little messy for the T-spin. Gonna try to get down now, but it's definitely a little rough. Never mind misdropping. Oh, Gelatinous Boy fingling around with the piece a little bit before getting that L-spin in. And ooh, Batches getting too greedy with that spin setup at the top. Z or S, I don't remember. And yeah, Gelatinous Boy tying things up at 2-2, showing that he can definitely have a you know, strong contention here. Yeah, and Gelatinous Boy at the bottom now. Looks like Batches is okay, also getting down, but Gelatinous Boy has such a clean board. We'll see if he's able to capitalize. And yeah, but both players kind of back to neutral now. Yeah, it looks like... Okay, so Batches is once again kind of... He seems to do this quite a bit, where he sort of messes up his board a little bit in order to get a few more spins in. So it's very aggressive, but sometimes he just ends up with a rough board that, you know, is trouble getting out of, especially when you add on misdrops on top of that. Gelatinous Boy seems to be doing more, like, conventional, kind of keeping his stack clean all the time. And that seems to help him recover, but for misdrops. But Batches is... You know, Batches still definitely has, like, the speed advantage, and so he can still easily, you know, get out of misdrops even when he has a bit of a rough board state. Gelatinous Boy going for the DT with a waste T in there, but it seems to be working out just fine for him. Batches is stacking up really high on the right side, misdropping the Z-spin. But getting some more spins in its place, showing that there really are no misdrops, only all spin setups. Batches not getting that tuck quite far enough. That can be one of the perils of a non-zero ARR, is sometimes you just don't hold the DAS for long enough for the piece to go all the way to the edge. But Batches cleaned that up very nicely, so it wasn't a huge deal. And Gelatinous Boy, now it was a really rough board, and using 2 eyepieces in the stack, they're gonna have trouble cycling to the next one in order to get down to the well. And looks like, yeah, Batches is up 5-2, building a healthy lead right here. Looks like Batches is okay. Nice clean stack, some T-spins. Very nice. And ooh, yeah, that J-spin right there at the very end was very nice from Batches. And taking it to match point. So Batches, ooh, the I spin from Batches. But anyway, yeah, so Batches only needs one more point in order to take the set. Ooh, Finn from Batches. Just Batches setting up all of the spins this round. Is Z spin triple? Really everything fancy. Now I just want to see an O spin to complete all the fancy spin setups. But yeah, Jonas Boy getting pushed up really high once again. Never mind, but he was able to get down. That's really, really impressive. And yeah, but Batches is so low. Just gonna kind of set up spins now. Wow, that TST setup from Batches is really nice. Very swag. And Batches, okay. Yeah, Batches is able to just cleanly convert that miss drop into some spins. That was good as well. And ooh, yeah, and Batches takes it right there. What was it, 7-2? That was very nice. Yeah, so that was it for Fusion 35. Yeah, GG's to all of the players. Well played from everyone. I saw everyone, you know, play out their heart. Yeah. So we, well, I should suppose, you know, we kind of have the standings here. So we have Corpy in first place, Batches second, Gelatinous Boy third, and JD fourth. Well played to everyone. I will be looking for a raid really quick. Usually I try to find the raid beforehand, but I was like kind of commentating. So I was not able to look. Alright, I think I have a raid in mind. We're gonna raid Chen 01. Yeah, very cool person. She's streaming Tetra right now. She also makes really banger music, so if you want to check out her like SoundCloud or YouTube, you can check out her music. Very banger. Yeah, Sketchy has the donate and Discord commands in chat. I already mentioned donating earlier. If you have any money you would like to spend on our org to help us with operating costs, you can donate there. Our Discord, this is where, you know, all of our tournaments are run from. You can register, you can get information, you get stream pings, you can chat with, you know, other people. Yeah, so if you are not in the Discord, you should join the Discord. If you are, good job. Yeah, we're gonna have Stratosphere tomorrow, so be sure to come back for that. And yeah, thank you to everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone who played. Thanks to Sketchy for helping staff. Goodbye, everyone.